Hello everyone, this is Panos, and this video I'm going to talk about cold calling and how to have the right approach for it, because I've seen many people struggle with cold calling. Either they have already started and they haven't been seeing the results they would have expected, or they haven't even started yet and want to have the right approach to it. So this is actually really important, because when I first started out, and I've seen many people that have seen the same, is I was cold calling, I was getting appointments, but they weren't converting into sales and they weren't meaningful appointments. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Panos. I took a big risk and dropped out at 16. Now I'm living freely from sales, making anywhere from 4 close to 5 figures per month. And I'm currently on a mission to help aspiring people navigate through this chaos of information on the internet by bringing people together that want to do the same and have people around them. So let's get into cold calling. So the first thing to understand is basically cold calling is the best method of outreach, especially for beginners. It's going to build some meaningful skills, the most important skills, and that would be discipline, learning to accept a no, learning to speak to people openly, understanding that no means nothing and a yes means a lot more than that, so it is really worth it. So most people I've seen get into cold calling with a completely wrong approach. They just cold call expecting appointments from every single prospect, which is not the case. It really is not the way you should be looking at it. So first of all, cold calling is the best market research tool. So by getting on the phone and you're doing 100 dials a day, speaking to like 10 decision makers in your niche, you can extract a lot of value from that. So first of all, you're gonna learn a lot about your niche and the market that you're targeting. Second of all, it's the most efficient way to connect, because if the niche actually supports it, you can literally speak to people that are your potential just by dialing their phone and speaking to them in like 5 seconds. So the third most important thing about cold calling is, or the good thing about cold calling is, you can start a relationship right on the phone without having to go through emails, having to go through DMs, without them actually hearing your voice and learning from you. And you can establish a good amount of trust just from that first call. So first of all, if you want to cold call properly, you must have a good offer. Offer is key here, because if you're calling them and saying, well, I might be able to get you this and that in 3 months, but you'd have to do this and that, that's not really promising. You're not going to be able to establish trust. You're not going to be able to build a meaningful relationship with that prospect that will then transition into the sales call, so you can hopefully, if they fit, close them. If you don't have a good offer cold calling, nobody's going to take you seriously, nobody's going to care about what you have to say. But if you have a great offer, you can like go in, build authority by telling them, I can quadruple your income in 90 days. That is a lot more meaningful. Now, your offer might already be good, but you might not be wording it properly. That's not what I'm gonna discuss on this video. But when cold calling, you wanna have a great offer that you can communicate to your prospect. Now, so this is how you should be seeing cold calling, right? You have a list of people that might be fit for your business, but like out of 100 prospects, maybe only 20 of them might need your solution. I'm gonna take the common example of a lead generator for realtors, contractors, med spas, whatever your niche might be. Now, whichever niche you're targeting, not everyone is going to need your solution, as I mentioned. So the way you should be approaching it is, you want to dial the phone, you want to have a list of prospects, and you want to find out by calling them who might need your solution. So you want to go into the cold call asking questions about if they might need your solution. You want to ask them questions to see if they would be a good fit for your pricing, the way you structure your offer, because someone's sales process could be completely different than what your service would support. So start cold calling by thinking, okay, it's time to get all these prospects off the list that are not a good fit, and actually finding the ones that would be a fit, and then basically going through the phone call to hopefully book them into an appointment while establishing trust, building an initial relationship with them, because that all transitions into the sales call. If you have a bad cold call, it is a lot harder to save it with a good sales call. But if you have a mid cold call and mid sales call, that's already a lot better. If you have a good cold call and then a great sales call, that's where you have the most chances of people actually closing. So offer is key. Have a good offer, find people that are actually a good fit, and warm up that relationship onto the sales call. So the next key point about cold calling is, after you hang up the phone, if you've closed them, what you do after the call is actually very, very important. If you just put down the phone and not do anything after that, so if you don't have an after cold call SOP or after booking standard operating procedure, that's basically a waste, because you risk people not showing up to appointments or not knowing what they're showing up for. So after you've hung up the phone, you want the prospect to know what they should be expecting, and then reminding them through your after booking SOP. So that would be maybe emailing them reminders, maybe some assets that you can send through email, like past case studies if you have those, videos on a short loom, maybe on what they should expect, what you actually do, like reminding them what you said on the phone, so they can remember like after the call and when going through the emails again what they're going to show up for. Because Because first of all, this could literally half your no-show rates. Prospects know what they're expecting and they have a clear vision on to why they booked that call. Imagine this, right? Someone calls you up, they say, okay, I can help you with this, and that, but then don't do a good job of explaining to them what is going to happen on the call. If they hang up the phone, they're going to be thinking, why did I book this? What was the point of this again? So by establishing basically a clear vision on the cold call, where you're going to explain to them what you're going to talk about, that's going to decrease your no-show rates, and that's also going to warm up the prospect a lot better for the sales call. Now, what you can put onto emails is, as I said, looms, maybe some information. You could also have nothing, just have good reminders and a good reminder procedure. So maybe texting them 1 day before the call, 6 hours before the call, 1 hour before the call, 5 minutes before the call, so they can actually have it in the back of their heads. You can also ask them to accept the calendar invite, like block down the time on their calendar. Okay, so that's that about doing the cold calling properly. Now, the most important thing, literally, this is the most important thing with cold calling in general. You want to be consistent. This is what I was doing and most people are doing at the start. You don't want to be doing 50 dials today, then not dial tomorrow, and then do 20 dials the next day, and then 100 dials the next day. That's not consistent. You want to have a clear, so the best case scenario is you have from 9 to 2 p.m. You want to have it set on your calendar for every single day, unless something happens, which shouldn't. Basically, just be cold calling. When you're cold calling, you want to be focused on cold calling and just that, nothing else. You don't want to have distractions. You don't want to be doing DM setting on the side. When you're cold calling, just cold call and be consistent with it. Okay, so next thing, if you're consistent, you won't also want to be tracking that consistency. So what you can do is, after every single dial, note down that you did this amount of dials today. A good way to do that is have a sheet of paper and do like a line for every single dial you do. And in that way, you can actually know, okay, out of this many calls, I booked this many appointments, I had this many conversations, this many calls actually showed up. So you can know like what works, what doesn't, what can I change. So it's also way easier to improve if you're tracking, because if you're doing like 10, 20, then none, then 50, then 100, it's very hard to know what actually works because you're not being consistent with it. You cannot take out the conversion rate as well. So how do you improve if you're tracking and being consistent? So let's say for this week, you're using this specific script. Also, don't change scripts. Don't hop from one thing to another. Don't change offer every single day. Literally do the same thing for a long amount of time. That would be maybe around a week before you change anything, literally anything. Because if you're not doing that, if you're not putting in the volume, you will not have enough feedback that you can then adjust your script, your offer, your approach to it to improve. So for example, you've seen that this in 1 week, out of 500 dials, you've booked this many appointments with this script, and you have recorded all the successful calls. You should be recording every single one of the calls that are meaningful and listening back to them. So if you listen back to them, you can most of the time see like where the cold call went the wrong way, when the prospect stopped opening up, stopped trusting you, stopped caring about it, started rushing out of the call by saying, okay, can you send me some information over? I'm actually very busy right now. Can you call me again then and then? You want them to keep the prospect engaged. So you want to be looking back on those calls and seeing, okay, when did this go wrong? And then deciding what can I do differently, and then testing that for another good amount of time. So every single change, you want to give it time to actually be able to track the conversion rates and see what is actually working better than not. Now, it's very hard to keep cold calling and like do it consistently if you're expecting sales from it. So what you want to do is find joy and fulfillment in defeat. What do I mean by that? So if you get through a list of 100 prospects and book not a single appointment, you want to see, okay, what did I learn from this? What did prospects say to me? What questions did they ask? What kind of problems did they mention that they have that I didn't know of before? How can I add this to my offer? How can I adjust my script to actually fit those prospects? Now, if you're just starting out, or if you're already a bit experienced but want to level up, it's extremely important to be networking with people that are doing the same. Now, imagine this. You're on a journey just by yourself. You don't have a clear path in front of you. You don't have anyone doing the same thing around you. You don't have anyone to speak to. It's going to be very hard to, first of all, stay consistent, stay motivated, and actually improve, because you have no input from anyone else, from their experiences or whatever, that can help you improve and stay consistent and stay motivated. So that's the best way to find joy and fulfillment in defeat, or even success. Find even more joy and fulfillment in success. Maybe you had a great day. Out of 100 dials, you booked 10 appointments, which is amazing. You want to have people that you can share that with. You want to have people that you can say, here, this worked for me. How did it go for you? Oh, you did that differently? Well, this thing worked for me. You can test it out. And hopefully you can help out others while others are helping something new. Yeah, it's never nice to be lonely. It's always nice to have people around you that you can speak to. So yeah, this is a short one, but that's that about cold calling. By the way, if you want to be part of this mission and have proper guidance and people around you on the same journey, whether you're at zero or already experienced but want to level up, click the first link in the description. It's not the funnel, it's not the webinar, it's not the case study. I'm not going to sell you anything. It's just our Telegram channel where we discuss step by step how to begin and fast track your journey to online success, and connect with each other to build meaningful relationships. Honestly, it won't really affect me if you click it or not. I'm already living a good life. So if you would like to be part of that mission, feel free to click the link below. Feel free to send me a message as well. And yeah, that's all for this video. If you did like it and it helped you out in any way, you know what you can do. There's a button for that. It doesn't only help the channel grow, but also other people will see this content and extract some value from it. Also, you can comment any ideas that you would like to see on the channel, or press the red button if you want to keep seeing my face and my content on your feed for recommendations more often. Now, hope you have a blessed day ahead, and actually thank you so much for watching and sticking through to the end of this video. I really do appreciate it. Actually means a lot. So yeah, that's it for today. Until next time. Bye bye.